Claude Debussy has become widely known as a leading figure in the Impressionist movement. He has helped aid the translation of late Romantic music into modern 20th century music. Without a doubt, he's become one of the primary influences to many major 20th century composers. So today we celebrate the 146th anniversary of the birth of this musical genius. Achille Claude Debussy was born on August 22, 1862, into a poor family of small-time farm workers and artisans in a suburb of Paris known as Saint-Germain-en-Laye. His father did not even provide formal schooling for Debussy and wished for him to become a sailor. Unfortunately for his father, Debussy took an interest in music. At the bright young age of 7, his aunt paid for a few lessons on the piano and finally moved Debussy up to formal instruction with a teacher who had studied with Chopin. Debussy quickly made progress with his new teacher. At the age of 11, he was accepted into the Paris Conservatory as a pianist, and for the next 12 years he studied composition, solfa, harmony, organ, and piano under the direction of many significant figures of the era. Although he was immensely talented in music, Debussy was very rebellious towards the musical guidelines of the time and challenged the rigid training of the academy by experimenting with unheard dissonances, harmonies, and intervals which were then frowned upon. His absurd ideas baffled the instructors, but intrigued them at the same time. Nonetheless, he studied many years under the traditional techniques, for his greatest desire was to win the Prix de Rome. From 1880 to 1882, he was employed by the patron of Tchaikovsky, Nadezhda von Meck, giving music lessons to her children. Travelling with this elegant family was a pleasant change from the slums in which he lived. Despite his patron's closeness with Tchaikovsky, this Russian master appears to have had very little effect on Debussy's music. More influential was Debussy's close friendship with Madame Wozniak, a singer he met when he began working as an accompanist to earn money. She gave Debussy emotional and professional support, which has greatly influenced many of his first songs. In 1884, after numerous composition entries, Debussy finally won the Prix de Rome with an elegant piece called The Prodigal Son. For the next 3 years, as a prize, he stayed in Rome, which he immensely disliked from the beginning. Upon his return to Paris, where he would remain for the rest of his life, he began a stretch of intensive compositions that would redefine music and intrigue the audiences for a very long time. But what has really secured Debussy's name into the history books was his involvement in the Impressionist movement. Impressionism music aims to create descriptive impressions, not necessarily to draw clear pictures. The music is not designed to explicitly describe anything, but rather to create a mood or atmosphere. Many people still debate whether this is what Debussy had tried to convey to his audiences. His works have significantly broke away from the concepts of traditional form and harmony, which has helped redefine music as it is today. Claude Debussy died in Paris on March 25, 1918, from colon cancer. This time the military situation in France was desperate, and the funeral procession made its way through deserted streets as shells from the German guns ripped into his beloved city. But this was just 8 months before France would celebrate victory. Although he disclaimed all notions that his works were impressionistic in nature, and he even disliked impressionist art, the scholars of the day deemed his work as a measure of impressionism in France. And even after a century of debate, impressionism will always be associated with Achille Claude Debussy.